You know, when you think about football's ultimate Iron Man, one name really ought to jump to the front of the line. So today, we're going to unpack the career of a player who didn't just span eras, he actually defined them. He set the standard for what it means to be a truly complete footballer.
Seriously, just take a second and let that number sink in. 5. Not 1, not 2, but 5 World Cups. We're talking about 2 decades at the absolute peak of international football. It's just a staggering feat of longevity, of consistent excellence, that almost nobody has ever come close to.
So who is this football Iron Man? What does it really take to not just survive, but to actually dominate at the highest level for that long? Well, let's find out.
We are, of course, talking about the German legend Lothar Matthäus. And his story, well, it's one of just relentless drive, pure tactical genius, and a trophy cabinet that honestly speaks for itself.
And what's so fascinating is that the seeds of his entire career, they were planted right there at the very beginning. From his first pro matches at Borussia Mönchengladbach, it was obvious this wasn't just another talented kid. He had the whole package: crazy versatility, an incredible engine, and that natural authority of a real leader.
Yeah, and those early traits, they just propelled him into a club career that was a complete masterclass in sustained dominance. This wasn't a player who had, one good spell at one club. No, this was a journey of conquering Europe's toughest leagues one by one.
And this timeline, it just illustrates his path perfectly. He kicks things off at Gladbach, becomes a superstar at Bayern Munich, and then he moves to Italy's Serie A, which you have to remember was the best league in the world at the time, and he wins it with Inter Milan. And then, just to prove he wasn't done, he goes back to Bayern for an even longer, more successful run. Just incredible.
And look, he didn't just play for these clubs. He dragged them to glory. 7 Bundesliga titles with Bayern, that's incredible on its own. But winning the Serie A title with Inter back in '89, when he was going head-to-head with absolute legends like Maradona and Van Basten, that's what really cemented his status as one of the elites.
But for all his amazing club success, there is one single tournament that truly defines the legend of Lothar Matthäus more than anything else. Italia '90, the World Cup.
This was totally his stage. As the captain, he didn't just play in the tournament, he owned it. He literally put the entire West German team on his back and delivered a performance that was truly one for the ages.
Try to picture what that actually looks like. He was the engine, just driving from his own box all the way to the opponents. He was the strategist, controlling the entire tempo, dominating every midfield battle. And above all, he was the leader, that undeniable force on the pitch that just willed his team to victory. And you better believe the world took notice. The result, the 1990 Ballon d'Or naming him Europe's best player, and then the very first FIFA World Player of the Year award in '91. Right then, at that moment, there was zero debate. He was the best footballer on the entire planet.
So the big question is, how did he maintain that level for so long? Because, raw talent can only take you so far. For Matthäus, the secret was his incredible football brain and his amazing ability to just evolve.
And this really brings us to the core idea of Matthäus as the complete player. This guy wasn't stuck in one position. He was a master of the entire pitch, understanding every single part of the game, both attacking and defending.
Just look at this comparison. It's like watching 2 different world-class players in a single career. He starts out as this unstoppable box-to-box engine with an absolute cannon for a shot. But then, as he got older, he didn't just fade away. No, he completely reinvented himself. He dropped deeper into that libero or sweeper role, that free-roaming defender playing behind the defense. That position demands insane tactical intelligence, reading the game, anticipating attacks. It was a perfect fit for his football brain. It was a genius transformation.
And this evolution, it wasn't just a nice story. It is proven black and white by some truly mind-boggling numbers that just show off his incredible longevity. Okay, how about this? 150 caps for the German national team. To this day, that is a record. No one has played more. That's a record you build by being completely indispensable to your country year after year, manager after manager.
And yeah, we're coming back to the World Cup. Because it's one thing to be named to 5 different squads, but it is a whole other thing to actually play in the games. His 25 World Cup matches, another all-time record. This proves he was never just there to make up the numbers. He was always on the pitch, always in the thick of it.
So when you lay it all out like this, the sheer scale of his success is just staggering. World Cup winner, league champion in Italy and Germany, the best player in the world. I mean, the resume just speaks for itself. This is what an all-time great looks like on paper.
So, what's his ultimate legacy then? Well, it's about more than just the records and the shiny trophies. It's about the standard he set for everyone who came after him.
His influence is truly profound. He's the benchmark for longevity and adaptability in the modern game. He showed generations of players what was possible if you had that combination of pure professionalism, tactical intelligence, and the will to completely evolve your game.
And whenever football historians get together and talk about the greatest players to ever play the game, his name is always in that conversation. And not on the edges either. He's right there in the middle of it, alongside names like Maradona, Cruyff, and Platini. That's the company he keeps.
Which, leaves us with a final, and I think fascinating question. In today's era of hyper-specialization, where players are trained for very specific roles from a young age, is the era of the truly complete player over? Will we ever see another footballer who could dominate the game as both a box-to-box midfielder and a world-class sweeper? It really makes you stop and appreciate just how ridiculously rare a talent Lothar Matthäus truly was.